Well, let's start. Yep, these are recorded, so there's a recording. Hey everyone, I'm Rosa with the membership team at AGU. I think based on the names here, I know everyone, but I don't want to assume. So thanks for joining us for the monthly call. Really glad to have you here today. Again, these are recorded. We will share the recording and any materials with you and other section leaders who could not attend. But really want to get to it because we're spending a lot of time on AGU 25. But before we do that, I wanted Amber to say a couple of words and go from there.
Thanks, Rosa. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Amber Levy, VP of Affiliation, Engagement, and Membership. Thanks for joining today. It is that time of year. We're getting really close to AGU 25. So as Rosa mentioned, we've got a jam-packed agenda, but our goal here today is really to just provide you with as much clarity as possible. So we'll provide a lot of detail. We'll reemphasize some of the information that we've shared previously, but also just want to say thanks for your partnership and your agility during really tough times and a lot of change. And so we just really appreciate your approach and how you've been working with us. So with all of that, I will shoot it back to Rosa.
All right. Thanks so much, Amber. So as I mentioned, Billy is joining us from Tokyo. We appreciate that. And there's been some conversation about inclusive programming. So wanted to give Billy a chance to talk to you all about that. So in the interest of time, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Rosa. Hello, everybody. It's good to be here with you. I just wanted to join the conversation today for a few minutes only. Invite you to follow up with me if more is needed, because there has been a lot of conversation we've seen on several Connect sites. There are people questioning our commitment, AGU's commitment in the inclusive science space, talking about the bridge program that falls there, heads and chairs community. I just want to reassure everybody that we are going through a transition in those programs, but we have not backed away from our values in those spaces. And we are in the process of listening sessions and reimagining what we do with the Bridge program, along with the 3 other AGU programs that were impacted by federal budget cuts, which caused us to have a pause. But we are intending to move forward. We're having listening sessions on what the greatest needs are and how we make those happen in the future. And we have had listening sessions over the past few weeks with partners in the Bridge program from academic community. So if any of you are interested in Bridge, what we do next, I would invite you to reach out to Ashanti or myself or Rosa, because we're partnering with the AEM team to make sure that we stay strong and have an active profile in this space. We will also be at AGU 25 for face-to-face discussions if you want to know what we're doing here. I would just remind you that our strategic plan for AGU leans very heavily into AGU promoting and simplifying inclusive science structure, culture. We have not changed from that. That will not change. You've also seen some comments about heads and chairs, and some sense that we're dropping that program. That is not true. We're transitioning the leadership for that. There's a webinar planned next week for heads and chairs. There will not be a workshop at annual meeting for heads and chairs. I posted some of this out on the website, but there will be. We are still in the process of planning a workshop in first quarter in conjunction with AGI. You should know that's a joint program, and Rosa and I will be partnering along with Ashanti in making sure we keep that going strong. So we have not lost our commitment to heads and chairs, regardless of what you might see posted on Connect or elsewhere. And if you have any specific questions or suggestions for us, just reach out directly to me. I'm easy to find, bwilliams@agu.org, or Ashanti Edwards at Edwards@agu.org, or Rosa, or me at agu.org. We'll get right back to you right away. And again, a lot of stuff out there that's kind of half true, half speculation, but we are strongly committed. We'll continue to be so. And seeking feedback from across the community on what next in these spaces. So pause now for any immediate questions, 1 or 2, and then I'll turn it back over. Don't want to steal your meeting from you.
Any questions for us on this or comments for a few moments? I'm not seeing any activity here, so.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Matt Kirby. Thanks, Billy. I appreciate it. I was one of the people that commented on Connects that I would try to find out more information about the comments that I was reading. So I really appreciate you getting out in front of this and saving me a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Matt. And I did post back on a few places where we saw comments, but they continue to pop up, and we'll continue to try to respond where we see comments. So we appreciate that. And again, if any of you have questions coming to you as a section leader, you don't know the answer, or you want to make sure you have the right answer, please reach out to us. We can help address those questions. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Billy. All right, why don't we move on and talk about AGU 25? What we want to do, we've been talking to you continuously in each of these calls and through a lot of emails. Sorry about the many emails, to help you kind of plan your strategy for your presence at AGU 25. AGU 25 has changed a bit. But we want to make sure that you have networking spaces and ways to connect and communicate with each other. We also just want to make sure everyone has awareness around these things. There's just a lot of information, although we've been trying to kind of keep you in the loop in terms of those things. We wanted to spend today with Josh, who you all know, who is your point person as section leader, and also Deb in our meetings team. And we have a few other people from the meetings team to really talk about and make sure you're aware of all of those opportunities. And hopefully there are good opportunities for you to be aware of and find ways to kind of speak to each other or work with each other. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm not sure who's going first, but why don't we, it looks like it's Deb. So I think we're going to talk about two major areas, but you can ask other questions as well. One is about the reception, the Science Connects Us reception, that basically the networking grouped reception, to give you a little more information about what that's about, how you can be identified in the space, and what the space looks like. So this is very much from a meeting planning perspective. And then Josh is going to remind folks about the networking.
I'm going to the kitchen.
Oh. If you have everyone on mute, that'd be great. So anyway, let's go with Deb, and you can tell us a little bit about what's happening with AGU writ large, and then a little bit more about the reception.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for having me today. My name is Debbie DeJacque. I'm the program manager working specifically on the annual meeting. So we'll go through a few updates. First, just want to share with you where we are with registration. We have over 8,000 people registered thus far. As we get closer to some of the dates that you see below, I'm sure that number will continue to increase. Some key dates and deadlines that we want to share with you today. The scientific program is live. Section tickets and banquet tickets are available through November 6th, which is next week. The early bird rate also will expire on that same day, November 6th. So we are, again, hoping to see a very large increase in registration between now and that time frame. And just want to highlight for all of you, housing closes on November 19th. So those are just some key dates that we want to share with you so that you can plan accordingly and prepare for the meeting. All right, so now we will jump ahead to the Science Connects Us reception. Again, this is Tuesday evening between 6 and 7:30. Next slide. Thank you. All right, so we wanted to give you a quick overview of what to expect when you arrive at the reception. We will have staff on hand to share with everyone 2 drink tickets. Those are for alcoholic beverages only. Non-alcoholic beverages are just complimentary. We will be hosting the reception with a lot of specialty foods from New Orleans, again, to pay homage to our location. We will have display and past items for you to choose from. We will also offer entertainment. We have a jazz band. We have some performers that will be on hand to enhance the experience. We will also have designated areas to help all of you find your communities within the larger, broader reception. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Brandon, our AGU president, will also deliver some remarks about midway through the receptions. We just wanted to make you all aware of that. And then, of course, we are focused on building community and connection as a whole this year, as our theme does display. Next slide. All right, so now we're going to go through the floor plans. This first floor plan is a little arts and craftsy, but we thought it would certainly help all of you understand the flow of the event. So if you look at the key on the left, the blue icon indicates where tickets will be distributed. The yellow icon indicates where staff will be positioned to help with the overall flow of the event. And then we will have some directional signage as well, indicated in the pink rectangle. So let's start below with the orange arrow that is kind of curved to the right. Those members and participants who are coming from the poster hall, exhibit hall, the registration area will flow into hall B1 within the direction of the orange arrow. So you'll see before they enter the actual space, there'll be a staff person there designated to hand out tickets, and then they'll be guided into the room there with the yellow icon by staff, and then there'll be a sign, which I'll show you in just a second, explaining how the room will be divided up to help all of them, again, find their individual sections, neighborhoods, and communities within the broader scope of the reception. So that's one area of how attendees will flow into the space. The secondary manner for which attendees will flow is from the escalator. So if you are on the second level of the convention center attending sessions, either on the third or second level, you will come down that set of escalators there. Thank you, Josh, for moving the arrow there to indicate that location. You'll then be greeted by staff who will direct folks down the corridor and around the corner, where you'll be met with another staff person who will hand out tickets. You'll flow down that hallway and then into the B1 reception space. So in that foyer space, you will also have locations for groups that are the College of Fellows, the international groups, and then the LGBTQ inclusive science community will also have sections within that foyer where they can also meet and congregate as well. So hopefully this gives you an overview of how attendees will flow into the space, where they will have the ability to collect their tickets, and where staff will be positioned to help answer questions or direct attendees into the overall reception locations. Okay, next slide. So as I just mentioned on the previous slide, we will have a large directional sign outside the entry of both of those locations, indicating by color where neighborhoods are and then where the respective sections flow underneath those broader neighborhoods. And as you will see, they are colored based on the current style guide that we are using for AGU 25 this year. So next slide. Here is an overhead graphic that explains how each neighborhood will be colored and outlined within the hall so that you can identify where your sections will be located underneath the broader neighborhood umbrella. As I mentioned, in the foyer space, we will also have gathering locations for the international group, College of Fellows, and LGBTQ inclusive science communities. Next slide. So when we talk about using color, what does that mean? We will be using uplights, and you can see some examples here. So as you walk into that larger, broader reception, we'll be using uplights to indicate what color neighborhood you should be looking for. And again, that all ties back to the directional sign that I had shared with you earlier. Here's also a visual that we received from our show decorator of what the signage within the space will look like. So there'll be one large meter board that says, "Welcome to your neighborhood." And then within each neighborhood, we will have kind of festive street signs that will show the section location. So you will either meet to the right or to the left of that street sign. Next slide. And again, here's just another view of what the neighborhood sign would look like. And then of course we will have street signs within each of these colored locations to indicate where your section will be located, either to the right or to the left of that street sign post. And again, this is just another visual. This one is in the foyer space. So this one's just to give you another representation of where the sign will be in relation to some of the street posts. And that's all for me. If there are any questions overall about the reception or the flow, I'm happy to answer those for you.
Thanks, Deb. And Josh, before you start, I did want to mention, I think it's important to mention something, Sarah, I don't know if you wanted to speak to it. You put in the chat in the last few days, we've gotten questions about federal employees. Do you want to speak to your chat?
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm a little under the weather,
Oh, I'm
my
sorry.
voice a little bit. Um, but yeah, for federal employees, we're doing everything we can to accommodate them. So, uh, regardless of when a federal employee registers, they do get the early bird rate. So our early bird deadline is next week on the 6th of November, but regardless of when they register, they will get that early bird rate. We're also looking at how we can extend the deadline for the ticketed events. We do have to put in food and beverage minimum, so we'll push it out as far as we can. But we want to give a little extra time, just because we know a lot of federal employees can't do any actions right now while the government is still shut down. And then, as always, on the AGU home page, you can click the link. There is still the hardship waiver form. So you can go and read that language and you can apply for that if that is applicable for you as well.
Thanks, Sarah. Hope you feel better. And there's a question, Deb, from Lisa about the timing of the reception. And you're on mute.
Of course I am. Yes, it is Tuesday evening from 6 to 7:30.
Okay. Great. So before we get into the next set of slides here, any questions for Deb? All right, so Josh, why don't you do a reminder? We talked about this in prior meetings, but a reminder of kind of the networking spaces that are available. Oh, Lisa, I see your hand. Why don't you go ahead?
Oh yeah, sorry, I just had one. There was one other question in the chat that I put in, and that was about how will the reception be advertised? Because I couldn't find it quickly on the meeting website.
So we do have a networking page on the website, and the Science Connects Us reception is there. It will also be promoted, I'm sure, through an app on, a push on the mobile app. It will also be reflected in our daily announcements that go out through our marketing team. So there are many ways that this event will be promoted prior and then, of course, on site as well.
Okay, announcement sounds good. I mean, maybe not everybody will have the app, but I definitely struggled to find it on the website, so maybe it can be a bit more prominent. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, thanks, you guys. Josh, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Most of you know me, but if not, I am the section support coordinator. And today I'll be talking to you about some of the AGU 25 networking spaces. So again, we have several options to schedule space for you to interact with your colleagues or attendees on site. We have the lounges, which are reserved for larger informal gatherings. Then we have the open meeting rooms, which are small private meeting spaces. And then we also have the pods, which are for small, open, and casual meeting spaces. I'll get into more detail on those different options in my later slides. But these are now the links to reserve these are now live, and I have the links here for you in the slide, which I will share with you following the call. So first we have the lounges. The lounges are located in Connections Hall, Hall B, and the names of those lounges are the Jambalaya, Louis Armstrong, and Mardi Gras. You can reserve these in 60-minute slots, and they have seating for up to 60 attendees. And as for all of the three options, reservations can be public or private. So public events will show up in the Convex online program, but will not be included in the mobile app. And then for the lounges, you cannot reserve these back to back. And AV and catering is not available. However, attendees can bring food or beverages purchased from the convention concessions. And then again, here's the link to reserve these, and these can only be reserved online. And then for the meeting rooms, these are also located in the convention center. We have room G114, and that has a 32 attendee capacity. And then there's also D108, which has a 16 attendee capacity. And then there's E112, which has an 8 attendee capacity. And then these rooms are open to all meeting attendees, and they are on a first come, first served basis. Again, you can make them public or private. Meeting rooms cannot be reserved back to back. Same thing for the AV and catering as the lounges. And these can be reserved online, or you can sign up for them in person during AGU 25. And then for the pods are open to all meeting attendees. Same thing with them being public or private. Each pod can be reserved for up to 60-minute time slots. And then the pods can be reserved online only. And I provided the link here as well. And then any questions on the networking spaces that you're able to reserve?
There's,
Josh, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead, go for it.
Oh, this is Amy Clement. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not on video.
Okay.
Josh, maybe I missed it, but do you have a map of where they are relative to the meeting rooms? Did you show that?
I do not, but Debbie, are you able to speak on the location, how they are in relative to the meeting spaces?
Sure.
I mean, to
are
where
you-
the talks will be given.
Yes. So are you talking about pod specifically or all the spaces that we have for networking?
I mean, ideally, all those. I'm more interested in the other networking spaces than the pods.
So the lounges that Josh mentioned, those or will mention, those are located in Hall B1. So that's exactly where the reception is that we will that of that map that I just showed you. That's where those networking locations are designed. The pods are also in that same B1 hall as well, in addition to the poster hall. The small reservable meeting rooms are kind of scattered throughout the convention center. Does that help a little bit with orientation?
Yes, it does. Is the map somewhere accessible online? Because I missed that when
So-
in the beginning.
Josh, can you go back to my reception slide? If you can go back a little bit. Keep going. Yep. Go back one more. Keep going. There we go. So this is the reception diagram that I shared. This is also where those pods and the networking lounges are located on the right-hand side. That's Hall B1. That's where these are oriented. So it's right next to the plenary room, which is to the left, and Hall B1 is to the right.
Thank you.
Sure, of course.
And there's a note here about sending links. I'm not sure if you meant links to the web page as we were talking about or the reservation, but we will send, as we typically do, the PowerPoint where all the links will be active, and we can also include in that follow-up email links to some of the pages that Deb just
Yep.
referred to.
And I wanted to let you know that the links are posted currently in Connect in the AGU section leadership discussion group as well. But I'll make sure to include the links to reserve these spaces in the email when I send out the slides.
Thank you. And yes, there are so there are pods here in this networking lounge, which we're calling Connections Hall, and then there are also additional pods in the poster hall. So depending on which venue would like to choose, you have some options there as well. Thank you, Josh, for going backwards a little bit on the slides.
Of course.
Okay. And Josh, there's a question for you in the chat as well.
Yeah, so for AGU 25, we are not hosting the committee meetings on site. So we put together these options for networking spaces for you to reserve. If you do plan to host your committee meetings, they will be managed by the section, but of course, we're always here to assist you with that.
Thank you. All right, any questions before we go into the discussion breakouts, which will have you speaking more about this among yourselves, but and we also will have time on the other side of the breakouts. Anything else for now? Well, thanks, Josh and Deb, and continue to reach out to us as you have been with questions. I know they'll get more detailed as we get closer to the meeting, and we also have a November last section leader call where I'm guessing we will continue to talk about AGU 25 and a few other topics. So why don't we go to the discussion questions? All right, so as you know, this is what we've been doing the last few meetings, which is giving you all a little bit of time and space to talk about a posed question. We've gave you the question in the agenda when we sent out the agenda a week or so ago. So the question being, with the shift to open networking spaces, how can your section make the most of these opportunities to build stronger connections and sustain collaboration during AGU 25? So that's the question. Then this is how it works. You'll have 10 minutes in your breakout groups. Josh, I'm not sure how many there are. I know it gets figured out based on how many kind of are in the show up for the meeting. And then remember that when you come out of the breakout groups back to the larger group, we're going to be asking that a person, whoever you choose from the team, report out on what you talked about. And